Hey everyone, Scott with Under the Glow, back again with my Salvage crew. This video is going to be slightly different. I'm going to do a quick build, pretty much in real time. I'm going to skip over just a little bit while things were drying. But this is going to be just a little recon bot that the Salvage crew uses to scout out different parts of the ship. Maybe places they can't reach or places they think are too dangerous. It's kind of like a little camera bot and has a tiny, like a welding laser cutter kind of thing on the front. This piece is primarily from the Space Hulk re-release in, I want to say, 2012, which is exactly what this little piece was made for. It was like a recon piece. And it was used as an objective in that game, but I am just going to repurpose it slightly. I'm going to edit it so that it has more of a control panel and a little beacon so that it can be remote controlled. But more so, this video, what I want to focus on is kind of why I'm building this crew, what they represent to me, and how I'm going to be using them in-game. And later on, I'm going to go through all of the models that I've made so far, which includes all of the squats that were part of this video series, as well as models I made, some of them a couple years ago, just for fun. I did quick build a few models for this warband that I don't really consider conversions. They're more just small alterations, head swaps, things like that. But I made them to fill out the roster so that I have a good number of models to choose from and thematically have a warband that all fits together. In games like Necromunda, where I need more models, I'll have them available. Mainly they're guys with las guns or auto guns or something pretty simple where I just need a body. I want to talk a little bit about what this warband is for me, which in my head is a few different things. First, it's a fun hobby project, which that has to be the primary reason why I work on any model. I enjoy, as you can tell, I enjoy the process of building. I don't really enjoy painting, and there are people who paint far better than me, which is why I'm not really showing painting videos. But these guys are a fun project, and that's has to be the number one reason I work on anything. Second, my local friends here are playing some Necromunda, so I wanted a new gang to play with. And although these guys aren't, technically from the rulebook a gang, I can use counts as rules, and all my friends are fine with that. So they know I like to convert and make things, and as long as I make them clear, which I try to do as much as I can, they're totally happy and encourage me to kind of go hog wild making fun models. So what are they really? Like, what is the warband? I thought about it for a while, and I had a rough idea when I started making some of these models, but it really came into focus when I was finishing up the last few guys from the last few videos and played my first game with my friends. I had to come up with names for them. I had to come up with a story of who are these guys. What is this warband? So I'm pretty happy with the story I came up with, which is the warband is called the Resnick Family Salvage and Recovery Company, and led by Fedor Resnick, and his son, who is a Jew in the gang, is obviously next in line. It's sort of a family company, and the rest of the guys in the gang are employees, and they don't operate necessarily as a gang, although they take on, let's say, nefarious jobs. They're willing to do the dirty work for whoever's paying. so they don't really care what the job is, as long as it falls under their purview of, they do recovery, they recover wrecked ships, they recover debris from space, they board, um, you know, destroyed hulks in space stations, and they live, uh, in comparison to a lot of hivers, they live a pretty extraordinary life because they are in space quite a bit. Part of that, I was thinking, well, how do they do this? Like, they can't just do this all the time, otherwise they wouldn't really be fighting in the hive where our campaign is taking place. So these guys, I think of them kind of like deep sea fishermen, where they maybe go out for a few months at a time, and then they're back home. They made a bunch of money. They're back home for a few months at a time, and when they get a big job, they assemble the crew and they all go off and do whatever work it is that they've been hired to. And while they're home, they're in the hive, and they take on smaller jobs that are maybe not space-bound, but they'll still do recovery operations. They'll find individuals. They'll go seeking sort of wrecks or archaic devices in the abandoned places of the hive. So they're kind of adventurers, kind of garbage men, and they go looking around for things that are valuable and taking on jobs for people they think will pay a high price for old technology or interesting bits of alien technology, maybe. So that's kind of how I see these guys. Making up these kinds of stories and background information about your gang, even though it doesn't do anything in game, is a lot of fun. And I highly encourage, if you enjoy converting models, or even if you just like building them right out of the box, come up with a backstory, come up with why they all work together, who's the leader, why did that person become the leader. I was joking with my friends, and for some reason, every gang I make has a father and son in it, and the son ultimately ends up surpassing the father, kind of like a Star Wars scenario there. But yeah, it's just something that seems to pop up in all of my gangs, and I think that's funny. And now I'm just kind of like, well, I'll do that again. So when you're working on your models, think of the backstory, think of what drives that model. Kind of like a role-playing game. Now, obviously, you don't have to, but it makes it a lot more fun. So here's what the gang looks like now. I'm going to add some more models down the road, but first I want to get some paint on these guys and some more games. I hope you enjoyed this series. I'll add to it as I make more models, and the next one will be coming soon. Thanks.